everybody. So welcome here to Psychological Journey. Again, this is our third appointment. And also hello to everybody. I'm Barbara, Dr. Barbara, and I'm here with great pleasure to introduce to you two very good colleagues, okay? And today we are going to speak about love, okay? We are going to speak about love. What's love? And these two colleagues of mine, they're great. They are going to speak about love from different perspectives. So you can see here we have Martin.
Thank you
okay,
very much.
he's a lecturer in academic English and just also marketing ground courses. And we have Dr. Aiden here. He's working on macroeconomics and working with the doctoral students. Okay. And as I told you, we're going to speak about love. Why we're going to speak about love? Because we all need love, right? We all need love in our life. And it's something which is kind of very important for us. It's a strong need, but sometimes it's really wishy-washy. It's something fluffy. It's a cloud. We don't know what is this, you know? Maybe we cannot define it. But today, together with them, which are my guests, we are going to try to see what it is. We don't know, but we are going to try to see what it is. So Dr. Aidan here is going to speak about Fromm, and he's going to introduce love from a literature perspective, because you know literature, films speak about love, and he's going to speak about different symbolism. So please, Martin.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Barbara, and thank you, Dr. Nilofer and Dr. Aiden, and everyone, welcome. My name is Martin, and I'm a lecturer in the Berlin School of Business and Innovation, and I teach English and, for example, marketing and all. And thank you for the great introduction. The moment that I heard from Dr. Barbara about the presentation, the topic, love, and I researched, I tried to find some symbols that can, let's say, describe love in a different mood, like different feelings. So there were many actually, and I came across many symbols, many feelings that can describe love, that can describe, for example, the feelings that we have when we are in love, when we, for example, let's say, admire something or someone. I chose 3 symbols that describe love and different loves, for example, let's say. And I will start with 2 simple questions, and I want to ask you. The first question is that, what do you think? Do you think that love is just a feeling, or is it something that we must learn, we must grow, we must, for example, understand?
Do you ask me?
Yes,
okay.
Anyone can answer it, yeah.
I think, I mean, can I give you my gut response?
Of course, yeah.
Without being a psychologist
Yeah,
in this moment?
Yep.
So I tell you that when we are in love, we are on drugs, guys. We are totally, you know, our heart, we just live on a cloud, no? We walk on the clouds, everything is fantastic, you know. That's what I think, as a person, not as a psychologist.
Thank you very much. Love is according to Erich Fromm, who is, let's say, a very famous psychologist and philosopher. There's a book, I came across a book of Erich Fromm, The Art of Loving. I'll not discuss that in deep. According to him, it is an art. Love is an art, right? And it is, what do you say to that? An art of understanding. It is an art of, for example, let's say, growing, and I will connect it with the literature. In the literature, for example, love has been described through different, what do you say to that, symbols, and through different, what do you say to that, we can say faces. The first one I will show you is the red rose. Love, red rose is the symbol, one of the classic and most classic, for example, let's say, symbol of love, and it describes passionate love, right?
And your heart beat,
Yeah.
strong,
And
right?
it describes passionate love, and at the same time, it has thorn. So it means that while love is sweet and passionate, for example, it has, what do you say to that? It needs sacrifices. We can refer to the story of Romeo and Juliet. Their love was very good and extremely, for example, let's say, blind and so on, but it ended in tragedy. So it means love can have different phases. It can have, for example, let's say, I've noted down some of the, let's say, phases of love. For example, passionate love, painful love, powerful or even dangerous love, for example. So that is the first symbol. The second symbol that I have is the broken mirror.
That's
and
interesting.
It refers to fractured reflection. So broken mirror refers to a love that is obsession, and it is like a forced love, and love becomes, for example, let's say, obsession when it is, for example, let's say, forced. And we can see here, refer to the story of, what do you say to that, Heathcliff and Catherine's toxic love. Although their love was, for example, very, let's say, enlightened, but they ended up hurting each other. So you can refer to their story if any of you have, like, for example, studied that one. Then the third symbol of love is lock and chain. So lock and chain refers to, for example, controlled love, restricted love, and controlled love or restricted love by fear, by the traditions, okay, by the, for example, by other frames or other, for example, let's say, limitations that we have in the society. We can, let's say, refer to stories in, let's say, I have noted down a story here again. I'm trying to show you here. I will read from there as well. Okay, the Handmaid's, the Handmaid's Tale, which refers, for example, let's say, their love becomes an act of rebellion, okay, because it is forbidden. So we have forbidden love, right? So in literature, teaches us that love is not easy.
Not easy.
Okay, love is not easy, and to love well is a skill, actually. And we can learn from these stories that, let's say, it can be sweet or painful. Sometimes it can be freeing, sometimes it can be binding, okay. But it is not simple, and we need to, let's say, learn, we need to understand and grow in order to love well. Thank you very much.
Well, that's very interesting. We have all this symbol of love, a chain, you know, it's a chain, a lock. Well, we have the rose with the thorns. So the mirror, because maybe when we love somebody, we look at our reflection in different pieces. It's so interesting. Maybe
I have two more pictures here I want to show, and I want you to identify where these pictures are from. Like,
okay.
Two pictures we have.
Literary love. I don't know. Have no idea, actually. And
make a guess.
May I make a guess?
It's chains they make for love.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. Yes.
Oh, very
It's
interesting.
on the bridge.
It's on the bridge. Maybe
Yes.
it's okay. What do you think? Can you tell us?
It's in France.
In France?
Yes.
Okay. All these chains locked.
That's
yeah.
right. And the second picture is in Switzerland.
It's
It's a
Switzerland.
place where lovers generally go, and they try to
Hide.
Yeah.
Try to hide and nobody
to
see
enjoy,
them.
celebrate.
Yeah. That's
Thank
very
you. Thank you
interesting.
very much.
That's very interesting with the picture. So we see it's not just a symbol of literature, but it's more a symbol of, a symbol that we use every day. You know, where I live, there are bridges with locks and chain. So maybe we feel, when we love somebody, we feel chained, we feel connected. and maybe this chain is too strong, maybe it's too small. So he gave us interesting symbols, but now I would like to ask you about Fromm, okay? So he told me straight away, Barbara, I'm going to speak about Fromm because I think his vision is very interesting for us, okay? And I would like to know, so what's love for Erich Fromm?
Thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah, so when we talk about love, on one hand, we think it's a feeling, so how can you describe love? And Rumi said, when I started writing about love, my pen broke down.
Wow.
But still, there should be a way to understand, and why Fromm is so important, what I like about it. And he wrote, Erich Fromm is a psychologist, philosopher, he's German. He wrote book, The Art of Loving. And actually, what he wrote in that book, he also mentioned in his other works as well. He criticized the way in which people think what love is, the way they are misguided in their understanding, especially in our contemporary society. So this is very interesting, one thing. And another is, yeah, the approach that he thinks the art, we can think about love as an art, and he thinks that there are many other things that we give a lot of priority. So we want to be healthy, we want to be rich, we want to be popular. There are a lot of goals, but love is not something that people think, oh, I need to work on.
So
And Erich Fromm is saying that you should be working on that, thinking about it as if it's an art, and give your effort and discipline to develop the skill of loving. Yeah, so it's very interesting, yeah.
no, I wanted to ask you if I have well understood what you are saying. According to Fromm, we should change perspective and give love a very important place in our life. So is he saying that love is not a priority for us, doesn't have a very important place? No, is that saying this thing?
So we do we put a lot of effort to achieve other things, but we don't put a lot of effort to learn how to love. And he thinks that it would be good if people were working on that, and if it's possible to also show
Working, so he says that we should work on love. So it's not just a feeling, an emotion, but something that we should work on it every day, no? A bit of effort, because it does come naturally maybe at the beginning, but if we don't work step by step on it, if we don't give so much of our souls, no, in this effort, maybe it doesn't work. Is that saying so? Have I good understood or not?
Yeah, there are different components, like how the love is defined, why it is incorrectly understood in the Western society, in our modern society. But for love, yeah, we need certain things, and Erich Fromm describes that, like you need to have faith, you need to have discipline, and the love is about giving. And there are amazing ways in which this is being described. So on one hand, we think, oh, this is some kind of feeling which is difficult to describe. But on the other hand, if you always think like this, you don't give it a lot of attention, or you have some kind of ideas in your mind which are not quite correct. And this is what also Erich Fromm is describing, the types of love that exist in the modern society, how people understand it. Yeah, for example, symbiotic love, when some people, this is also related maybe to the psychology,
Yeah,
when
we're
there are
going to speak-
some people who have these tendencies for masochism, and there are people who have tendencies for sadism, how they actually find each other, and what this love
They complement each other.
complement each other. The interesting idea that goes through the ideas of Fromm, which is I think very strong, and it's kind of why I'm also mentioning Rumi, it's related to the mysticism as well, is that the desire for love is coming for people from the desire for unity.
Okay.
So people have this internal desire for unity, and they are trying, and the societies as well, and they are trying to realize that. And then he's describing different types of love. Yeah, for example, what that would be for women, what that would be for men, what is the love of the mother, yeah, the love of the mother for the child, or the love of the father, and how these attitudes, even the love of the mother for the child, the love of the father, how they influence the ways the societies were built. While the love of the mother is unconditional, the love of the father is conditional.
For him.
Yeah, and then we have these patriarchic religions, which also based on this love. And he's talking about the love for God. So the love of the father is such that, and this is also reflected in patriarchic religions, it's not unconditional, it's conditional on your behavior. So the God is saying, the Godfather, you should behave in a certain way. Only then will you be accepted. While motherly love is, no matter what you do, you are being loved. Yeah?
Okay,
So
that's
the
very
mother,
interesting. So he divided different forms of love. There are different forms of love, and I think it's essential in society. We are looking for unity. We are looking for unity, and we look for unity in different ways, and there are different forms of love. And he was a sociologist, was a philosopher, was not a psychologist, but as you know, words like conditional love, unconditional love are words that are really important in psychology as well. So why are you so interested in Fromm, you know? What did it came up, you know, you really start looking at it and you fall in love with all this.
This is something that like deeply resonates. I think it deeply resonates with many people. And again, as I said, I think Fromm, he conceptualizes many things, very, very deep, very important things, which are also related to this deeper spiritual non-duality approaches.
Okay.
So, and there are so many amazing quotes, and I just wanted to show some of them, and there are many like very popular ones. So I decided to take the ones which are less popular, just to emphasize, like to give the perspective. For example, Fromm says, love isn't something natural. Rather, it requires discipline, concentration, patience, faith, and overcoming of narcissism. It isn't a feeling, it's a practice.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the first approach. But then, to understand why, so the most love, what we consider now. So one thing is the sexual attraction. So erotic love.
Erotic love?
Why do we have erotic love? This is also
From children, no?
desire for unity.
Desire for unity.
And it is, and people realize this desire for unity, and that's why people are sexually attracted to each other. Again, we are driven by the desire for unity, but it is short-lived. Yeah. So, what people start thinking, and this is also very interesting, but it soon loses its seductive power. A mutual self-interest and dependency, which is mistaken for love. Mutual self-interest and dependency. So he's talking about people, another concept of love, or the way in which it is misunderstood in the societies nowadays, is that people work as the team. So there are certain expectations. It's not only that, okay, we have this capitalist society in which we in which consumerism is very important, and people are viewed in this way. So, okay, that's one way of thinking. But another very interesting idea that I like about it is that, okay, then you need to survive in this environment, and the love between people becomes as a teamwork. So there are certain expectations about the husband, certain expectations about the wife, and they create this union and to work as a team. And he says this is also not quite love, and very often this is what societies are saying this is love.
Okay, so he doesn't agree. It's a sort of a different perspective, a complete different perspective. Says, okay, let's stop 1 second, sit down, and think really what love is, not what society is telling us love is. So, and it's a good way of looking at ourselves from outside. It's like a light, you know? It's like a light coming from outside. It's very difficult to step outside and give a light, you know? You can agree with Fromm, or you cannot not agree, but the methodologies of stepping outside yourself and looking at yourself, it says like it's a patriarchal society, love can be seen like this. They want us to do certain things, but maybe we feel different. It's a very, very important perspective to grow as individuals. So whether you like Fromm or you don't like it, the importance of stepping outside yourself is something that is extremely important to grow as a society and to grow as an individual. That's what I take from you.
Yeah,
am I right?
Amazing. Yeah, because, right, exactly. Because how do we, what kind of concepts do we build in our mind? You are here and you have certain ideas. What do you think love is about? Yeah? Do you question those ideas? And today, even with colleagues, I was trying to invite people to this event, and I said, oh, we will have this event about love. And one colleague said, oh, I don't believe in love.
Wow.
And I said, oh, this is interesting. It depends on what you mean, yeah, on your concept of love, yeah. Then what is it exactly there that you don't believe in, yeah. So this is amazing.
I have a question.
Me too.
Yeah, please.
I have a question. So there is a quote from Erich Fromm that says that love towards anything, it can be your country, it can be, for example, a language or a specific language, maybe let's say the tradition that leads you towards hatred or hating others is not love. It is obsession. Can you elaborate on it? What was the real quote? I forgot it.
Amazing. Yeah, that's one of the Erich Fromm quotes. Yeah, this is true. And yeah, I was thinking this quote I didn't add today. So again, people have inner force for this unity with others. And Erich Fromm says how the modern societies address that. Well, there are unity in terms of groups. Yeah, so people achieve unity within the family, but very often this is misleading. But also they achieve unity within certain groups, and there are different types of groups. Very often this is nations. It can be, oh, we are educated people, or we are people from this country, and they are from that country. And he says, whenever you nurture this
obsession,
connection within this group,
okay,
and excluding someone else, this is not love.
It's not love.
So any kind of thing that excludes others. And he says, oh, there are many of those amazing love stories when a couple, they were looking for each other so much, and then they are so much in love, and they forget about the rest of the world. And he said, this is only showing this happens, this kind of emotional, the Fromm's analysis is amazing. He says this kind of emotional connection happens because people were so separated before, and it shows their desperateness and loneliness that happened before, and now that they have this connection, and now they are together against the rest of the world, and they again separate themselves from the rest of the world, and this is also not love. Yeah, so also related to what you were saying.
So was to translate for my student of social psychology. So it's in group, out group. No, it's like
exactly.
in group, out group. Sometimes is based on prejudice and stereotyping. So logically, it's not love. And I mean, what you said is really, it's a search for maybe an identity or something else, but it cannot be love. And what I was pointing out that Fromm was looking particularly at the Western society, was so his light is his light was more on our society, in which, but maybe different culture might have different ideas of what love is, what is not. So that would be interesting. More we study different culture, more we study different vision of the world, more we become better off, because our cultural intelligence grow, and when our cultural intelligence grow, we can understand our life from different perspective. Do you have another quote that you want to show us? I see you working on that. But what I really found extremely interesting, is the fact that he was speaking about work. Love requires dedication, it's an art. So you don't learn, logically you can have a predisposition to be, a great painter, a great poet. You can have this predisposition to be a great painter, and you can be a great poet, but doesn't mean that if you don't work and step to be what you can be, you don't become what you can be, and that's for love. What he's saying is an art, and the word art we have to focus on. If we look back at some, because I come from Italy, some Italian artists, they were going there, working step by step, and to become master. To become a master, you have to do apprenticeship. So you were to learn an art, you have to do apprenticeship. You were in a place working step by step, doing apprenticeship, and it was lasting years. Okay, years of work to create something that was lasting forever and ever. Okay, and that was interesting. But now we are going to move to cognitive behavioral therapy, because I heard lots of interesting stuff, and I'm going to pick them from you. I'm going to pick the idea of obsession, the idea of lock and chain. We're going to speak about all these very interesting topics from a different perspective. So some of you know that I work as a CBT therapist. And so as a CBT therapy, what is cognitive behavioral therapy? Cognitive behavioral therapy is many things nowadays, but it started with a guy who was really a psychoanalyst, very passionate about psychoanalysis, and then started working started working with people that had very strong depression. And he realized that with psychoanalysis you say you have this sense of death, you want to die, that's why you want to go to Thanatos, and he realized no, it's not that. And he had a different idea, and the guy didn't even want to be a psychiatrist, want to be a neurologist, and then they build out on that. I think when I did my apprenticeship as a CBT therapist, there was my great teacher Anne used to say to me, depression is like when you sneeze, everybody sneezes, everybody has a cold, which doesn't mean that the depression is very much common. We don't know about it, we don't speak about it. we hide it, we don't speak about it. And so he was speaking about this thing that we have inside. So we have here, imagine a tree, okay? You have a tree here, inside yourself you have a tree. Here in your belly, there are the roots go inside. And then the tree goes up, here we have all my hair, all leaves, okay, all leaves. And this is your core belief, and this is your automatic thoughts. The automatic thoughts are like clouds, they come and go. And you can think crazy things with automatic thoughts, okay? And they discovered that people with depression sometimes really have negative automatic thoughts about themselves, okay? So that's how CBT started. And they tried to change these automatic thoughts, making them more realistic, okay? More realistic, okay? Down to earth. We have to be down to earth to live this life. We cannot be on the clouds. We cannot be anywhere else. We have to be down to earth. So what he's saying that, we have these automatic thoughts that are like clouds, come and go. And sometimes you get fixated. One thought doesn't want to go. Doesn't go with the wind. Stay here in our head. And we say, move, move. But he's there, he's there. And these thoughts, become fixated. And we start seeing the reality through these thoughts. And think about what he said, sometimes we are in relationships, and, they feel like a chain for us. Why? Because maybe we don't have, love is work, love is art, love is, but when you love somebody, I think there is trust as well. You trust, not because you become a unity, right? And with unity, so going back to what he says, with unity there is always trust. And imagine, I don't know if it happens to you, I'm married as well, and, somebody, this can happen with friends as well, because love is not just, romantic love, you love your friends as well. And friendship and love affairs can go, can become heavy chains to bring than if you don't trust. And somebody is texting, like, and, and you're there, it's just like, and if you have this negative automatic thoughts, what do you think? You think, somebody is texting. Doesn't mean it means that I'm boring. This can be your core belief. In this moment, really, I'm not, I'm not worth of any interest because he's texting. And maybe, there is some other reasons. No, there is some other reasons. The reason are, you are not, you don't trust in this moment. The reason are, is preparing a, surprise party, or, he has to do something with work, he forgot, oh my God, yeah, just going, let's text, he's doing something else, or, maybe his a friend sent, hear this song, he says, I don't have time now, I'll hear these songs later. We send messages coming from Instagram, on WhatsApp, so you don't know. So why you are going to think about these negative thoughts there? And that's the question. And, and so CBT therapy is bringing you down to earth. It's saying, if you are texting, you don't have to think very much bad, very bad. It's different of what he's saying, but on the other hand, we have these things that you have, again, what I think is interesting in all these approaches is that you go out yourself for 1 second and you look at yourself. This is my thoughts. Doesn't mean that is the truth. Doesn't mean that it's me, these thoughts. Maybe it's not. Maybe there are other thoughts. I got fixated, but maybe it's other things. And I'm connecting again to the concept of art. Love is art, right? You said love is very much art. So, and there is the idea of trust. And there is something else that we teach when people come from CBT therapist appointment, and in general, counselor teaches that, and they are taught in different, also when you do business, but they come from, psychological work, listen, active listening. What does it mean, active listening? It means, again, that you are there to look for unity. which doesn't mean, it's logically it's different perspective. I'm not saying that Fromm said that, but I'm just trying to unify two perspectives that seem so far away. So practically, you are there to listen. What does it mean you are there to listen? That you listen actively of what he's saying. You are not there to answer back. Okay? When we are there with friends, and with friends there is love. When we are there with the family, and we are there, they're saying something, and I want to show, because of narcissism that he was saying, I want to show that I'm better. I want to show that, so they speak, I'm saying, what can I answer, what can I answer, what can I answer? This is not love. This is not a loving relationship, because you are not actively listening to what the other person is really saying. You're not doing that, you're not doing that. And what do you think? Do you think this is love, or we have to learn that as well, to active listening to people? Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
It's very difficult, right?
It's very important to understand and listen to what the others are saying.
Yeah, what the other people say. And then in this case, love become very much a chain. Okay, love very much become a chain. So going back to cognitive behavioral therapy, it says that we have this cognition that guides our life, that are the and we have the behavior as well. And he's speaking about these roots that we have inside ourselves. These roots, these are the core beliefs that we have. Everybody has a different core belief, okay? And some people, because of what happened, and I'm going back to them as well, it was speaking about conditional love, unconditional love, it was speaking about all these things, conditional love. And, some people maybe think I'm not good enough, because I don't know you, but, sometimes we have, rigid school, which are not based on love, or we have rigid family, which, are stressed out, they are together, as he says, like, to be, to reach the end of the month, and we think, oh, I'm not good enough. And in some cases, when you really had a really bad childhood, you have this core belief, I am unlovable, And if your core belief you are unlovable, how can you become a unity, Can you repeat this concept of unity? Because we can go...
It's great about this, and exactly that relates to what I was showing in this slide. What you said, believe about myself, am I lovable? So people think, oh, actually the problem of love is not such a big thing. What is important here is to find the right object to love, and to be lovable. So many people think that they are not lovable, which is, again, just a concept in their head. Yeah, and then you are right, and you have this CBT therapy to work to make people realize that this is the concept in their head. And more broadly, what Erich Fromm is saying, exactly that people are mistaken in this. I really like this Fromm, that people think that to love is simple, but that to find the right object to love or to be loved by is difficult. You see? So many people think like this. This is the core, one of the core beliefs. And Erich Fromm is questioning this core belief. He says, this is wrong. You guys are wrong here. Why are you wrong here? This attitude has several reasons rooted in the development of modern society. And then he goes on and explains why exactly they are wrong. This is amazing.
I don't know if we just can put it to this contemporary society, because humans, we are humans. People are people, and we've been bad to each other, and everybody had bad experience. Not everybody. Some people unfortunately had bad experience in the past. But this core belief, I'm unlovable, stop to find your connection, which people you can really love. Okay, so this connection, because you just wear a mask, you wear something, you are scared of going near the person, and so it's again going outside yourself, going outside your life to find a way to say, is that true? And sometimes speaking with people, everybody is lovable, you know, everybody is lovable, everybody had, you know, and going back to this belief and say, you know, yes, I can do that. I can be the object of love, you know, and also I can give love. And maybe the other thing of the unity, which is going, yes, it's something that we say in the therapy room, but we don't say just, you know, from CBT. It's a more general concept that you say the find of unity, the find of giving. When you give, you know, you give to yourself as well. You reach yourself. Because giving is also reaching yourself. So, for example, going back to our bunch of depressed people that I told you, it's not something scary, it's something extremely common to have. You know, depression is common, it's part of sometimes who we are as human beings. You know, we can go down, something can happen, and everything else. You know, one of the things that we tell people is just do charity work. Work with others, give love, because if you give love to the others, you give love to yourself, because your self-esteem you see other people happy, and you enter, as going back to Erich Fromm, in this circle of unity, in this circle of life, and you feel part of something bigger. Because we are social animals in a way or the other, we need love. So, going back to you, I would like to ask you, what is your favorite symbols? I didn't ask you that.
Well, my favorite symbol...
Is there a favorite symbol at all, or is that...
I want to highlight two things. Number one, yeah, my favorite symbol is, of course, the red rose.
Yeah.
Because it describes a passionate love, and at the same time it has thorns, so it shows us that, of course, there are some issues, there are some, for example, let's say, struggles in love as well. And at the same time, when you combine the symbols of love with the Erich Fromm, we can conclude that love is not something that, what do you say to that, can happen by accident. You need to, like, for example, understand, you need to study, you need to grow with it, okay? So that's something that I got from the Erich Fromm and with other quotes. For me, my favorite symbol, as I said,
is
the red rose. But what about, like in literature, we have dangerous loves, for example, let's say, or the loves that ended in tragedy, the love that ended in cruelty, they hurt each other. So what do you think about those loves, for example, let's say? They were not, as per the Erich Fromm's quotes, they were not like organized love. They were maybe, some of them were love at first sight. Some of them were love, for example, based on other things. So, and also, what about forbidden love? Like, what about lock and chain that we have? What about forbidden loves? For example, you referred that you're married, let's say. Marriage can also be a restriction.
Yeah.
So there are forbidden loves. Maybe the people, they're not happy in their marriage and they love someone else. So what do you think about the lock and chain? And is there any connection between the, what do you say to that, the psychology of those people? Or in short, can a person love multiple individuals at a time?
Yes, 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 yeah. And we can speak about love in a different thing. And I want to, you know, you have more than one questions there. You have, it was...
bunch of questions. Now you can talk for a long time.
I can talk for a long time. And I'm going to speak about a bit of schema therapy, which is connected to CBT as well. When we love, and it's connected to psychoanalysis as well. No, you know that in psychoanalysis, they always say if you're a woman, you fell in love with your father sometimes. They tell you like it's, I'm looking at my husband, like, is it similar or not? We learn love from our family. So it's a sort of, we learn what is love from our family. And sometimes you said that we have this abusive relationship, and every time we fall in love, you hear this sad story that a person fall in love with somebody that is bad for her or for him, and fell in love again with from somebody is bad for her or for him. And yes, because we learn what is love when we are kids, you know. And we go with, there is a concept of habituation. There is a habit there. The habit to connect love with something bad. It's a familiarity. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have a really strong attraction to people that are bad for us because we learned that when we were kids. And so if you have somebody that comes into your therapy room and he says or she says, you know, the people that I love are always bad to me, you say, you're attracted to somebody, it's not for you. Because this is the familiarity coming back. It's not a real attraction. It's not this good for you. It's the familiarity that's coming back. You learn what was love when you were a kid, okay? And you are repeating that schema without, you know, you couldn't know any better. You were a kid. So it's not, you feel a strong attraction. No, 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 no. Go the other way. Maybe meet a guy, a girl, whoever you love, you know, that give you less attraction and learn to love this way. Okay, sometimes it's good. You have a great family, you know, and, you know, the familiarity is good for you, but sometimes not. So this is really the schema therapy, which is really connected to CBT, is telling you just go the other way around. And this is what we teach them. So love at first sight can be good if, you know, the familiar, the habituation, what happened is good. Love at first sight, no, 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 no. If you come from, you know, a different background. And it's something that, again, going back to Erich Fromm, or whatever research, or whatever way to look at it, try to look at yourself from a different perspective, to look out, you know, without any judgment. Why you should be judged? Life is life, you know, you shouldn't be judged. So, like this. And when you have forbidden love, you know, you say that you are in a relationship, that there is no love for you. I don't know, it's your call. I mean, depends on what culture you come from. I cannot, you know, the therapist and the psychology is not there to tell you what you have to do. At least you're not, it gives you a broad range, you know, of if there is no happiness, and there is, it depends also the culture, where you're from and everything else, you know. What you feel secure at, I'm not telling, you know, I cannot as a therapist, as a person, tell you what to do. I mean, I can give, as a CBT therapist, I can give you homework to do at home. For example, you're depressed, 15 days, walk very fast. Don't eat, you know, too much sugar. It's, you know, for depression, it's not good. You know, eat lots of vegetables, which is good for depression. You know, common thing. Do gyms. Do charity work. These are homework that I can give you. You know, write your diary to be outside yourself for a while, look at your situation. But I'm not going to tell you, you know, you have to know what is best for you. Yeah. That's, I think, was a very interesting conversation. Can I know your, you know, he showed lots of different symbols. Can I know your favorite symbols? Is there a favorite symbol? So what would Fromm choose? Imagine you are Erich Fromm.
Really interesting.
Imagine,
Yeah.
I mean, we know that you're not, but imagine that you are Erich Fromm. What would Erich Fromm choose?
What would Erich Fromm choose? Oh, okay, that's an interesting question. I think we can ask ChatGPT.
Yeah,
For me,
artificial
I would
intelligence. That is another interesting topic, artificial intelligence and love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Yeah,
I don't
that's
know what maybe Erich Fromm speaks about unity, which is a different kind of symbols, no? Not just one, but many of them that reflect the unity and diversification of life, you know? Symbols that, or maybe can give you symbols that help you to understand that love is an art, okay? Love is an art, so, which means that's something that you have to learn, okay? And this goes back again to CBT, because you have to learn about yourself, you have to learn about your automatic thoughts, you have to learn about a core belief. So the connection, it seems vague at the beginning, but it's very interesting to put two different perspective. One is psychological based, experience based research, and the other was a more sociology and a philosophical way of looking together, because both of them put highlight the importance of learning. And in CBT, in cognitive behavioral therapy, you learn to be healthy. You learn your way to be, you know, a human being who's happy. Okay, you learn step by step. In fact, the CBT therapists give you homework to do at home. You know, write your diary, write your automatic thoughts, you know, put your automatic thoughts. There are different techniques that I'm going to explain you now, but put your automatic thoughts in the situation and ground them, be more realistic, because very often are really kind of, they can be everything. They can be, I'm going to kill my dad, you know, and you say, oh, I'm a killer, you know, not a killer, you know, just not, you know, we think everything. They are really like clouds, and we can choose them, you know. So, and you like Erich Fromm as well, you know, I think.
I've studied, and also the book, I just read some parts, not the full book.
The art of
I like the art of loving, and yeah, I understand that. I agree with Erich Fromm, and I believe that love is not an accident, and we need to be careful. We need to, for example, keep ourselves safe when we are choosing someone, something, even characters. Like some people are in love with characters like manga characters, and they spend all their money buying it. So we should be careful about it.
Is that love? Is that an obsession?
It's an obsession. So that's why we should understand, and we should, for example, let's say, stay safe and keep ourselves, for example, more. What do you say to that?
This is going back again to Erich Fromm, because not to quote CBT therapy, but to quote something again, addiction. You know, he was speaking about addiction. Okay. Addiction, I'm addicted to something, I spend all my, and I think I'm in love, but is that love? No, it's absence of unity. Because the opposite of addiction, for the great psychiatrist Mate, the opposite of addiction, okay, is connection. If you are not connected, if you are not part of the unity, you need addiction. Okay, so how we break the addiction? We break the addiction speaking about connection. So try to be part of the unity of life. So it was really a great element. Do you think it's time for questions now?
Yeah.
Yes? Do we go for questions? Do you have any questions?
Yeah,
okay, we have Sebastian. It's
time for questions, of course, from the audience. Very interesting.
I don't have a watch with me.
Yeah, it's already 3.
It's 3? I knew it. I just have the feeling it was already 3.
So I have 3 questions, essentially.
3 questions?
Yeah,
what are the difficult?
First, you spoke about how loving is an art and how you have to learn how to love. Yeah. But then would you agree that every individual you tend to love, you have to learn how to love them differently from the person you loved before? So, yeah, would you agree?
That in order to love someone, you learn from whom you loved before.
Yeah, so for example, if I love my boy Shanawaz here, then we break up, Tino is a completely different person, so I have to learn how to love her completely differently. or would you say it's all similar?
Okay, that's like more on the practical level. Of course, how we perceive love, yeah, it's how we learned by our societies and within the family, and what we think about love, yeah, in that sense. And there will be a lot of this inertia, yeah, in the sense that you say how you love someone. Sometimes it can be different because there are different types of love for yourself, motherly love, brotherly love, yeah, or erotic love. Of course, it will be different in that sense. But I agree that, yeah, there will be a lot of something that you already had experience, it will reappear further. This is true, yeah.
Okay.
I agree, I think so.
Yes, probably we need to learn to love people. You know, you think that with everybody is different. You just, yeah, you need to, first of all, if you mean that you need to know people, yeah, you need to listen to them, you know, first of all, and not to understand them. Yes, so probably the answer is yes.
Yeah, and so you spoke about how love is more so, well, Erich Fromm quoted that love is a bunch of concepts all into one thing that we call love. So would love have to be its own sort of general space made up of all these concepts, or is all these concepts what we call love?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, so on one hand, as I said, yeah, and as Rumi was saying, it's very difficult to express it in words. And if you try to express it in words, you should be very careful because that might be wrong. Yeah, but why Fromm is so important? Because he was showing the concepts that people have. They have these idols, or they call love what you said. Oh, it's not love, but it's some kind of desire for possession, or so people mistake. He was also talking about this when people have these melodramas. They look at them and they have their ideas of love, but they don't want to experience it in their life. So there are all these sorts of things. There are all sorts of concepts. Understanding them, understanding what is wrong, is important. Yeah. So.
Okay, and yeah, lastly, in terms of English literature and cognitive psychology, I wanted to ask if we look at relationships such as in Macbeth with regards to Sir Macbeth and his wife, and then we look at The Tempest with his daughter and the Ferdinand, I think, and then we take in the concept of familiarity and toxic love. Would you say that the whole concept of falling in love with your father or mother relates to falling in love with someone that you're familiar with, and then relating that to Ferdinand and the wizard's daughter in terms of love at first sight?
Well, that's interesting.
That's again the question that is.
It's for me.
we need to address
Maybe for
because
you,
it
yeah.
is related
Yes.
to psychology.
So according to, yeah, I think, first of all, I think literature is the first psychology, and myths are the first psychologists. Because practically then we did science about it, we studied them, but we had the idea that, you know, we started describing behavior, you know, and behavior that you find in literatures are behavior that sometimes are stories that, you know, sort of universal, because yes, it's a particular character, particular story, but we can, we mirror in them many other individual stories. So I think what the CBT and schema therapy are telling me, and you know, many of the psychologists, not just that, many psychological theory, is that you know, the first period of our life influence our future. Okay, so much. You look at Bowlby, you look at the strange situation. You know, I'm not going to quote everybody that you're going to do in developmental psychology, you know, but there are influence us. Attachment influence us, and what we learn as kids influence us. And in schema therapy in particular, they just say that, you know, the first relationship, if your mother were really a cold woman, you know, and you can fall in love with a cold man or a cold woman as well. Depends on your orientation. You fall in love with because you repeat that, and maybe you don't need that. You need something different, okay? And maybe you need that as well. I don't know, depends on kind of person. But if you're not happy, it's just repeating the schema, of what you see, and you're repeating unconsciously, or because or in a learned way that you haven't made it clear to yourself. And so you have to make it clear, just it doesn't mean that you have to look at the past, but or when you're a child, and it depends on the orientation of the psychotherapy. But what you have to look is, if you look at schema therapy, this woman or this man was this way, this person was this way, this other person was this other way. Am I happy? No. So, and it cannot be abusive relationship with somebody is, doing something bad to the other person. Can be, really close relationship, or people that are really cold. There is not. So you just look for something completely different, and they tell you if this is the first attraction that you have, and you've been not, you are 30 years old, and everything went down the drain, whatever, just look for something else. Straight away, you are very attracted, avoid it.
Any other questions?
So basically, I want to ask, like, there's a very popular saying going on.
We cannot hear.
We don't hear you, unfortunately. Thank you for us for coming here.
So my question is that, like, basically, there's a saying going on in India. There's a saying going on in India. I want to ask about that. Like, koi tumse pyar kyun karega? So, like, why someone should love you?
Why somebody should love you?
Yeah.
Because, may I answer that? Or do you want to answer? Yeah, all lovable. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not?
Like,
because, we are all human beings. We love each other. Love is in the air.
Like, what kind of things you can look into someone that found, so that you can found, yeah, she loves me, or like he loves me?
If you can notice, if the signs that somebody is in love with you or not. Okay, so what are the signs that?
I can give an answer based on our marketing and project management formulas. We have this. We have the what do you say to that? The formula of VRIO, right? So why should someone love you? V stands for value. What value you would add to that person when you meet him or meet her? Let's say, what are the values? Whether you add knowledge, whether you pay, whether you, for example, let's say, help or assist him or her in something. So that's the value. What value you add to your friends when you meet them? Do you, for example, comment positively? Do you, for example, let's say, help them, assist them with their homeworks? Do you, for example, let's say, entertain them? Or you have a very nice house. When they come, they use your swimming pool. Okay. So that's the value, right? And what about the R? Rarity, whether you are rare or not. So being rare means being yourself. You shouldn't copy others. You should be yourself. So if you're rare, then you can be loved because you're rare, you're original, you're genuine. You don't have to copy anything, anyone else. Rarity and imitability, let's say, no one should be able to copy your product. In terms of project management, we have that one. So you should be genuine again, yourself, and organized, disciplined. So if you're organized, if you're disciplined, you say and you do that. Let's say you're on time. For example, organization, discipline is one of the most important thing that you can attract people. So this formula can make you attractive. This formula, for example, can make you add value to other people, to friends, to anyone that you are, let's say, in the community, in the society. So that's in terms of marketing, I would say, but not in literature, in psychology.
Now, I would say, I would give it another answer, because this is cool, but it's not coming from my heart. It wouldn't be my heart, okay? But it's a very cool answer. I would say, first of all, why not? Why not? Everybody is lovable, why not? And then there is not a universal, there is not a, what do you mean by love? You mean the friendship? You mean, romantic love? You mean the other things? So I think everybody is looking for something different. So there is not a unified answer there. It's not a unified answer, but everybody is lovable, Everybody, we are there, we are all human beings, so.
And I would also add, so because we said, oh, okay, you're lovable, you can contribute, you can give, and people benefit a lot when they give. But even you can say, when I receive something, you also benefit. The person who gives benefits by giving. So you could be lovable even by receiving. You don't necessarily have to give, perform, and do something. When you receive, the person who is giving is benefiting a lot because this person is also feeling this love. So you are lovable because you could give an opportunity for someone to give. And even there is a saying that sometimes poor people have difficulties not only because of poverty itself, economical things, but because it's more difficult for them to give. And giving is something that benefits people a lot. This is also very interesting, another view on that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One more question?
Okay. We should.
Hi.
Hello.
I would like, is working or is, okay? Okay. Like I would like to ask something regarding the unconditional love. Like in this present society, is it possible to love everyone like in an unconditional way, or do we have to create boundaries? And when thinking about unconditional love, what it means for me is like to open your heart for everyone irrespective of what they are. But I think some people are like narcissistic and egoistic. Even if you try to open your heart, it's like you are draining your energy. So what's your opinion regarding that?
If you meet a narcissistic person, the best thing is to run away. Why you spend, and because you spend time and efforts with them, and why?
I'm not talking about the lover, I'm talking in general, as a people.
As people,
Yeah.
As people, I think each of us has the power to change our society. So in what society you want to live? You want to live in a society which is based on conditional love, or you want to live in a society which is based on unconditional love. So I prefer unconditional love. And then I go this way. Does it work? I don't know. But you have to think who you are, what you want, who you want to be. I think this is the best answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's very big question. How do you practice unconditional love in our society, given all these difficulties? And this is really big question, and people were trying to answer this question. There is an amazing book. This is one of my favorite books by Dostoevsky. It's called Idiot.
I know, I love it.
Know. Yeah?
I love it.
So, and this is the person, the main hero is the person who was generating this unconditional love, but people were different, and how it was affecting others, how other people were trying to use them, and what kind of emotions that was triggering in them. This is amazing. Yeah. So I think that's one of the ways to contemplate. Yeah, and of course it's a very complicated question, and it's not so easy to answer.
So you have your homework now. You have to read The Idiot by Dostoevsky, and we'll test you next time.
We talk Dostoevsky. Yeah, we can do.
Dostoevsky, yeah, it's great.
My question is that if I have love with someone, why we have conditions?
I haven't understood. If you love someone, why to give conditions?
Why we have condition in love?
Why we have conditions in love? I don't know, depends on the definition of conditions. If the definition of condition is in German says Grenze, so something that they cannot touch, something that is very important to you.
But my question is very simple, because if I am loving with someone, why I can't touch him? But I can't touch her?
I
Why I
haven't
can't touch her?
understood. I couldn't hear. Could you repeat? If you're
If
not,
I love with someone, why I can't touch her?
Why I can, he's saying
Why
if he's
why
in love,
condition is
why he
applying
cannot
on
touch
love?
someone he's in love with?
because this person is a person as is her skin or his skin. Their
But why
skin,
condition in love?
And this is something. I'm a person, and I have certain rules about myself. One of the things that you do, you go to therapy, is just to learn that you're a person and your value as a person, and people cannot, they have to respect your, what do you say in English?
Boundaries.
Yeah, you have to respect your boundaries. You cannot do whatever you want in your life because you are here with other people and they have their boundaries. If you love somebody, you listen to somebody and you hear their boundaries. So if for me, that you touch me is something that goes against what I want, you are trespassing my boundaries and the love is violence.
But
So
love is,
that's why you cannot do that.
love is unconditional.
Never,
I
because
listen.
we learn to have our boundaries. And you don't love somebody if you trespass their boundaries. You are doing something bad to them.
But why I pass the boundaries if I love with someone? No, if we
These
both,
are boundaries, not, you love, but it should be, when there is a touching, when there is also connection, it should be from both sides. If the other person doesn't want, a no is a no. And there are their boundaries. And the love that you feel for them is violence. So a no is a no. Whatever it's coming from.
Yeah, if your love is truly unconditional, and you think, okay, I can touch this person, and if you think it's truly unconditional, you should be able to feel what the other person is feeling, yeah? And if you feel, oh, the other person does not like that, then this is not unconditional love, yeah? Then you don't
It's
do that.
the other person is not an object, it's a human being. Also, if a cat doesn't want you to, to stroke him or her, you shouldn't stroke him a cat. You should respect the boundaries of a living being because love goes with boundaries.
Also,
And every person has his own boundaries.
Also, we can ask this question from ourselves. How would we feel if someone touches us, like when we are not in a mood, like we are sad, we are thinking about something else and we are, for example, having some issues, and someone comes and touches us, and how would we feel?
Yeah.
You can ask this question from yourself as
Yeah,
well.
but I also like to add that there's a difference between boundaries and conditions. Conditions are more so if I get married to you, then it's because, on the condition you provide me with a safe home and security and stuff like that. Whereas whatever that guy was saying was more so of like, on this basis of being, I don't even want to speak, but like like assaulting the person. In a sense, because if a person doesn't feel comfortable with you touching them in a relationship, it should be okay. You should respect them, especially if it's love.
Yeah.
Why are you touching me? Exactly what Tino's saying. Why are you touching me if I don't want to be touched? There's other ways to show them your love without having to touch them as well. Like, there's no point in that.
I
And
mean,
that
if you're allowed, if you are, for example, if you have the consent, you can touch, but
Exactly.
marriage doesn't give you a certificate
Exactly.
to touch someone.
Exactly.
I mean,
So
it is,
that his whole
it's
question
his
was just,
body or her body.
personally, I feel like his whole question was just based on nonsense.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, also in marriage, if somebody doesn't want, to be touched,
cannot
you
touch.
have to wait for the right moment, if there is a right moment. Yeah,
100%, yeah.
it's always initial boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes, very good, very, very good analytical distinction, Sebastian. You're always great. Amazing.
Any other questions?
Do we have other questions so we can close down the session? Can we close down the session?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm really so honored that I had the two of them, Dr. Aidan and Martin. They were amazing. Thank you from the bottom
Thank you
of
very
my
much.
heart. I thank you everybody who came here, had helped us. Thank you, Camilla, as well. Thank you.
for being a student.
And I would like to thank them, you know, who help us, the technical team, and I would like to thank Dr. Nilufar for making this event possible. Okay? Bye. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you.